One day, things started getting a little crazy at Thunder Valley in Bristol, Tennessee. All sorts of motorsports started coming out after dusk for the O'Reilly Night of Fire. Jet cars, monster trucks, giant robot dinosaurs. Okay, things may have gotten a little out of hand.
A small and mighty crowd, but they've come for one thing, and that is a little bit of fire. Some smoke, some fire, some things going down the drag strip, a night of dinosaurs, and a big night of surprises. Hi everybody, I'm Doc Riley, and welcome to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Night of Fire here at Thunder Valley at Bristol Dragway. Tonight we're going to see cars go down the 8th mile, the quarter mile. We're going to see the incredible RoboSora, and we've got a couple of things planned. Well, we'll unveil those type of things when it gets time for that. But right now, let's go to the starting line and find out what's going on this, the Night of Fire.
Thank you very much, Doc. Ted Jones, Mike Side with you, and we have going on Nitro Cups. Paul Athey and this guy, Jeff Merritt, in a 2000 Pontiac Trans Am. Look at that wild top fuel wing mounted up top right there as these guys do the burnout. Then they'll back up. Now, the idea of the burnout is to heat those tires up because drag slicks work a lot better when they're nice and hot. Also, they lay down some rubber on the drag strip. This is a concrete starting line. The rubber adheres very well, and it stays hot and sticky. And traction is the name of the game when you're making the kind of horsepower that a Nitro Coupe puts out. That crewman right there will turn on the onboard computer after the car stages up. You can see right now Jeff Merritt staging very carefully with that Pontiac Trans Am. These cars supercharged, burning alcohol, 426 cubic inch big block engines. Good green light start right there. Side by side they go all the way down to the 8th mile. It'll be a 4:48 at 155 for Jeff Merritt. He did that in just 660 feet. Here's our next pair. The beautiful 69 Camaro Z28 of Tony Williams will be facing Kathy Belcher in a 1990 Camaro. Now, let me tell you something though. The Z28 was originally 302 cubic inches. Tony Williams has well over 500 cubic inches tucked down in that 69 Camaro. Good green light start. Nice hole shot there by Tony the Sandman Williams as he pulls away in the far lane. Shuts it down with a 4:34 at over 160 miles per hour.
One of the neat things about the O'Reilly Night of Fire is we get an opportunity to see some real good looking, classic, nostalgic rides. And Ken, first of all, tell us about this 409.
It's basically a 1963 Chevy Impala, factory original 409 car, 4-speed transmission. Just weekend racer. We try to get out there and put a show on for the crowd, pick the wheels up in there, and just put a good show on.
What about the engine?
It's still a factory original 409, steel block, steel head motor, GM parts. A few goodies inside, trick things here and there we kind of keep to ourselves, but just try to get it run as good as we can and, you know, do the best we can.
When you talk about the launch, it looks like this thing is just a handful. Looks like it twists and turns and everything else.
Yeah, that's what you get out of the 4-speed car. No electronics in it. It's all done with the clutch pedal, no line lock or anything. Done with my feet and just try to put a show on.
You know, the 409 had incredible torque, and right now, Ken Walsh will make a pass in that. The car was originally made famous back in 1962 and 63 by Hayden Proffitt and Dino Don Nicholson. Look at the burnout. Did you notice the tremendous torque of that 409 engine? The 409 was actually a truck engine. It was bored out, and that guy who was very famous came up with the idea of boring it out to 409 cubic inches. His name was Zora Arcus Duntoff, the father of the Corvette and the Z28 Camaro, by the way. 6:48, 105 mile per hour for the 409. Now let's check in with Doc Riley once again.
There are very few things in the motorsport world that command this much respect. And when you've got giant pinchers and you weigh a ton or more, you're going to get some respect, especially when you eat crush cars, snort fire, and thrill crowds all over the place. Mark Hayes is well, what exactly is your title?
Well, I guess I'm the operator of RoboSora. I'm the man in the beast.
The man and the beast. Tell me, first of all, about the beast.
RoboSora is the largest robot in the world. He stands 42 feet tall. He weighs 60,000 pounds. He's also the largest transformer in the world. He folds up when he's done eating here, and he will fold up like a transformer toy into a semi-trailer, and that's how he travels down the road to his next meal.
So that's where his home is, a little semi-trailer.
That's it. He is a semi-trailer, just going down the nation's highways, looking for food to eat.
What about the history of RoboSora? It's been around for a long time.
We've been around, this is our 16th year of touring and thrilling crowds all over the US and Canada. And we started out with our first show in 1990. RoboSora was initially came to life as the thought of Doug Malwicki, my partner, who's the mad scientist engineer. And between himself and Gary Cerveny and I, we just evolved into this giant transformer robot dinosaur that picks up and eats cars.
This edition of O'Reilly's Motor Mania being brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, home of the professional parts people, and by Summit Racing Equipment, the world speed shop, and by Moroso Performance Products, race-proven Moroso. A couple of front-engine dragsters on the starting line right now burning out. These are true dinosaurs of the drag strip. They ran pretty effectively up through the early 70s, and then Big Daddy Don Garlits perfected the rear-engine dragster, and these things kind of became obsolete. Why? Well, because they're kind of dangerous. Everything's out in front of you right there. The rear end is right there underneath your knees. It could be just a little hairy, but a lot of people still like the old-fashioned slingshots, as they were called. And this happens to be a pair of them, capably driven by Ed Fargo and John Ring. Good side-by-side exhibition run down to the 8th mile. Fargo 5:25 over 132 miles per hour for the front-engine digger.
The O'Reilly Auto Parts Night of Fire is full of surprises, and one great surprise we've got here is Bob Hull. And Bob, the Wheelstander right here, the Airborne Express. Tell me a little bit about your ride.
Well, this is a 2002 Chevy Astro van reduced down to 3/4 scale. It's a blown alcohol 540 cubic inch Chevrolet, about 1,400 horsepower. It'll run the quarter mile anywhere from the mid-9s to the low 10s at about 145 miles an hour, and that's on 2 wheels.
What's the secret of getting the ride up onto 2 wheels?
Well, it's the way the car is built. It's mid-engine. It's not rear-engine like a lot of people think. It's mid-engine. We rely on horsepower to make it stay up. And we steer it with brakes. We have an individual steering tiller like an airplane. We drive it kind of like a farm tractor. You look down through the floor to see where you're going, and you sort of work the throttle against the brakes and go as fast as you feel like it's safe to go.
How long have you been doing this?
Wheelstanders, over 25 years.
Always had the drag racing gene in your body?
Yeah, I've been drag racing for almost 50.
Bob Hull, ladies and gentlemen, as he gets set to do a little magic here on the O'Reilly Auto Parts Night of Fire.
Well, here comes Bob Hall. He calls it the Airborne Express, and you can see why it is airborne. Now, that's just the burnout, folks. Only kind of car you know of that does a burnout with the front tires about 6 feet in the air. Wheelstanders have been around since back in the 60s. Very popular exhibition vehicles. You can see he comes back right there. A mid-engine design. A lot of people think the rear engine. No, the engine is really more mid-engine in these, and balance is a part of it. But the torque of the engine is what keeps the front wheels in the air. By the way, Bob has a bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the University of Maryland.
It couldn't be a night of fire without a little jets to have a little fun with. Let's talk to Paul. Hey, Paul, tell me first of all about this ride.
It's fast. It's really fast. It's got a JT12 Pratt & Whitney, about 6,800 horsepower.
That's an awful big handful right there. What do you kind of do to kind of keep focused on things?
Just put my game face on is all I can do.
An awful lot of horsepower and having your hands full must take an awful lot of concentration and focus.
Yeah, it does. It does. You know, but as far as driving the car, it's pretty easy. I lay back and drive it with 2 fingers. So.
2 fingers, huh? So it's not like driving any other drag racing car on the planet.
No, you don't have any tire shake or tread spooling or anything like that. The car just goes extremely straight.
You know, when you get up to the line and everything else, I guess this is all done by thrust. So you got to kind of build the RPMs up and everything else before you launch?
Yes, sir, and stay on the brakes.
Stay on the brake. Boy, you got to be in good shape to handle one of these babies.
Yeah, it takes a little bit.
Takes a little bit, very, very modest right there, but he's going to get set to fire up as we get set to bring you another exciting evening of action on the track in Thunder Valley of the Night of Fire.
All right, and here come those two Wild Jet cars right now. Mark Smith, this was formerly called the Wild Thing. He renamed it the Air Force One. And there is Paul Miller that Doc just talked to, the Blaze of Glory. What's the most popular car ever produced in Detroit? The 57 Chevy. So why not have a 57 Chevy funny car? Boy, these guys do accelerate quickly. They're going to go to the 8th mile at 204 miles per hour in under 4 seconds.
Well, this guy is really no stranger to a night of fun. Andy Hoffman, Hoffman Motorsports, and the driver, of course, of the Nightmare. Andy, what brings you to a drag strip?
Oh, it's just fun. It's something different. We don't normally do this very often, but it's just a night of destruction for us. We're doing a little car crush and having some fun.
You know, everyone else is into fire and everything else, but we don't want to talk about that, do we?
No, absolutely not. I've had plenty of those in my time, and hopefully we don't see any fire tonight.
Let's talk a little about this Chevrolet that you drive, the specifications on this bad boy.
It's a 2006 Chevy Silverado. It's got a 540 road deck, all in them Chevy. Actually, it's the very first weekend for the motor, so we're kind of testing tuning here and just see what we can do.
10,000 pounds?
Yeah, actually 9,600 pounds, 12 feet wide and about 10.5 feet tall.
And probably drinks an awful lot of alcohol fuel.
Oh, absolutely. We'll go through about 5 gallons of pass here tonight, probably.
Yeah, and really crushing some cars, so it's kind of fun. Let drag racing fans see the monsters.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a whole different thing for us and different people, but a little laid back for us. We're not really racing like normal stuff, so just kind of have fun and cut loose.
It's always good to have fun in East Tennessee.
Absolutely. It's beautiful down here, too.
Beautiful down here. We're looking for a good night, a night of destruction. No night of fire from this guy. It's all about monster truck car crushing. Welcome back to the O'Reilly Night of Fire, Thunder Valley, Bristol Dragway. They've got them all going right here. A little monster truck side-by-side racing action. The Equalizer against the Nightmare.
All right, Doc, monster trucks, always neat to see. You very rarely see them race on a drag strip on asphalt. Andy Hoffman, by the way, started out in truck and tractor pulling before he went to monster truck racing. R.C. Hawkins driving the Chevy S10 right there with a Jim Audi 575 cubic inch big block Chevy. Wins the event 7:27 at only 66 miles per hour. You got to realize they have a very low gear, so they don't go that fast. It's the power of the monster truck and the awesome size that makes them so popular, along with what you're seeing right now, the 4-wheel steering capability of these monster trucks. They really put on their best show on the dirt, as you've seen here on the Outdoor Channel on World of Trucks. We thought it might be neat on Motor Mania to show you exactly what they can do on asphalt and how they can put on a nice show for the people. Hey, a little donut's being turned out there. They can do that on asphalt and tipping over on the side just a little bit. What a neat show by monster trucks on the asphalt. Hoffman's engine, by the way, is an aluminum road deck. That's an aluminum replica of the famous 427 Chevy. Let's go down the top end right now with Doc Riley, who's with our winner.
Hey, Mr. Hawkins, the Equalizer, outstanding, man. You got a little drag racing blood in you.
Yeah, we practice at every red light we stop at in town.
Not bad. Tell me about the Equalizer.
This is a new Equalizer. We just got it in January of this year. Dan Patrick built it for us with race source suspension from Pablo. We got the old one, that's the original one from '86. Got it named Hot Tamale, but we only brought the Equalizer today.
What do you got engine-wise in the Equalizer?
We got 540 cubic inch, about 1,480 horsepower.
It's got to be kind of fun playing here on a drag strip, man.
Yeah, for the most part, as long as the asphalt don't jump up and bite you.
Now, in addition to drag racing, they also crush cars, but they had to set the track up special for that because it was on asphalt. Doc Riley caught up with the track official to get the story.
Okay. Anthony, this is a kind of an unusual situation. Usually this racetrack, you don't want anything on it other than the rubber, but you guys are going to crush some cars during the night of fire.
Yeah, and these crushed cars can cause some damage. So you want to protect the track as much as possible. This plywood will create that barrier between the track and the axles on the cars and the stuff that will come out of the cars.
This is kind of a nice night you guys have put on here, the O'Reilly Night of Fire. It's an opportunity for people to come out, see some drag racing, see some unusual things, see a little destruction and destroy, and even see a robot eat a car.
Absolutely. Bristol Dragway is known for night of fires back a few years back in the 70s and 80s. So we're trying to bring that back, relive some of those times. So we got a good crowd out tonight. The weather hampered us early in the night, but I think, I think everybody's going to enjoy themselves.
Well, take a look. First, the Nightmare will be up, driven by Andy Hoffman as he goes over the cars, does a little wheel stand. Take a look at it with our replay. Grabbing a lot of air, they call that. Does a little wheel stand after he crushes those cars. You can see that four-wheel steering and how that really comes in handy. A reminder to you, this drag strip is only about 65 feet wide from wall to wall. The hard way to do it, backwards in reverse. And Hoffman celebrates there with a 720. Now, here comes the equalizer. R.C. Hawkins driving the Chevy S10. He'll get his shot at crushing the cars. Grabbing air, all four tires off the ground. All he has to do is use the cart to launch it, and then he jumps right over it. Monster trucks on asphalt. Who'd have thunk it? Those sparks out the back will explain that in just a minute. Meanwhile, Hawkins idles by and salutes the crowd.
Well, typically on a night of fire, you see the sparks coming off the Wheelstander, but right there, an awful lot of heat coming off that drum brake that's coming up right there. That thing has been glowing red, red hot. Mr. Hawkins putting the old equalizer through the pacers right here. An awful lot of steam coming off the engine as well. The little fluid blower really holding up very, very well. But one thing is sure, this ride is right and tight, and he'll be able to race yet another day.
All right, thank you, Doc. Coming up, the star of the show, RoboSora. Stay tuned. O'Reilly Auto Parts Motor Mania is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts, home of the professional parts people, and by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology, and by Hallmark Trailers, built strong for the way you work and play.
What are you liking about the night of fire so far?
The jet engine cars.
Are you excited about RoboSoras?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen RoboSoras before?
No, I have not.
Are you going to be afraid?
No.
What do you think he's going to do?
Eat them.
Eat them.
Catch them on fire.
Why did you come to Bristol Dragway? It's their honeymoon. Oh, congratulations. Have fun. Enjoy your summer. Thanks for coming out.
And here he comes, ladies and gentlemen, up from the quarter mile of the drag strip, breathing fire, the monster, RoboSora. And guess what they've sacrificed for RoboSora's feet tonight? The local television station van. That's right, WCYB TV5 is going to lose their news van. Watch this. See, first RoboSoras picks the van up and crushes it, and then he sets it on fire. A blazing inferno. And when he's done with it, he just dumps the remains down on the ground. And after the fire goes out, he decides to eat a little bit more. This is one of the cars that the monster trucks crushed. RoboSoras just tore it in half.
highlights of the O'Reilly Night of Fire is this man, legendary motorsport thrill act, Benny Koski. Benny the Bomb. And Benny, it's another night of getting in, strapping in, and, well, explain kind of what you do.
Well, we got 15 charges in this Buick here, and we're going to count down from 10 to 0. I'm going to flip the switch, and there's going to be a loud noise, a ball of fire, and I hope to come out of there victoriously.
Now, this isn't the first time you've done this.
I did it once or twice.
Once or twice before? You know, what kind of preparation do you have mentally to get ready to do this?
Well, I really don't know. I'm all shook up right now. I mean, my adrenaline's going and everything else, and I'm going to be worse when I get out of the car because my nerves are going to be running 900 miles an hour.
Do you take a deep breath and then just hope for the best?
I have to because I got 15 seconds to get out of this car.
Okay, it's time for the countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Another day, my friend, you did it.
Yes, I did, and it was hot in there. I felt a little fire coming out with me, and I'm not used to that.
You're pretty nimble.
I'm shaking like a leaf right now.
Join us next week on O'Reilly Auto Parts Motor Mania. We'll have the famous Super Chevy Show with those legendary Nitro Cubes. Full-body door slammers running 30% nitromethane on the Bristol dragway. Until then, I'm Ted Jones for Doc Rowley. Thanks for watching. So long, everyone, from Bristol, Tennessee.